Hey guys. So I wanted to share this morning a certain concept that is really big along the spiritual path to awakening, that is very different from the way that a lot of people uh, view and experience and live their lives. And it's very important to point it out because it's a whole different way of living. And the more I awaken, the more I grow as a person, the more I really um, embrace this new way of thinking and experiencing life and living and allowing myself to be lived through instead of me with my ego brain pushing and forcing things. Um, and I'm going to give you an example that's very, it's a, from my own life, that is a very, it's not necessarily painful as much as it is a pride blow, um, to my, that I did to myself, but it was something that I felt like I had to do. Um, so I was on the crux of graduating with my master's, and I decided that and because there was a lot going on in my life, um and it wasn't even necessarily a lot of physical stuff that was going on in my life, but there was a lot of pressures. There was a lot of emotional stuff going on, relationship stuff going on, um uh and also my spiritual nature, well, I should say my higher self was like taking over basically. And um and so I wasn't I w- it I was it was the battle between the ego mind and the spiritual self, and what the spirit self wanted and what the ego mind wanted, and it was a big battle. And it really did have nothing to do with the fear of actually writing the thesis paper. It's like a book basically that you write. It's a lot, and there's a lot of research and time that goes into it. But that really, I wasn't scared of that. It was more that I was going through so much in my personal life, and I was being overwhelmed by spirit, by my higher self, calling me into, all the energy coming into my system, and that the spiritual awakening was just deepening for me. And so it was to the point where I couldn't even concentrate on my studies, on research, um, getting together. I mean, I barely got my actual thesis statement clarified. And so it was just one of those things where it was one of those things where I had to relinquish and submit to a higher power, where I had to relinquish my ego, that push. And that's the kind of the point that I want to make here, is that there's a difference between how you feel, or how you experience life on the ego level, and then how you experience life as you grow more into your spiritual power, and you rise up. You rise up in vibration, you rise up in um, your how you process life through a spiritual lens. um, I had to basically follow my heart and put my thesis paper that would help me to graduate with my master's on hold. It's not permanent. It's on hold. But and I've got to decide soon what I'm doing with that. But there's just so many other factors in my life that were playing out, and also my the in what was going on in here and in here, that was so overwhelming for me, that I had to step back for a little while and really explore what I really, really wanted. And not, I do want that master. I do, I do want to accomplish that, because it's the art. It's like an art for me, like that. So I'm American history is my what I'm majoring in. I'm getting my master's in surrounding gender studies, women's. So it's like an art. It's like an art form for me. I really love history, especially women's history, American women's history. So I want to accomplish that, but there's also this like calling in me that's it feels so much bigger than that. And not to say that getting a master's isn't big, but it's more, I feel like, and this might, I don't, y'all take it as you want, but I feel like that kind of stuff is more in the ego playground. And well, it can be, it can be a calling, and it can be a great, you can take it on to, you can have a great occupation with it and all that stuff. But for me, I feel like my heart is being pulled in this different direction. And it's like so hard for me to ignore it. It's so hard for me to ignore it. And so I think this is turning into more like a vlog rather than like a coaching video. And that's fine because I want you guys to get to know the real me. But when you are on a spiritual path, sometimes you want to go in your ego wants to go in a certain direction because it wants what it wants, whether it's praise or money or whatever it is. And then your spirit is like, you have to go here for a while. You have to do this for a while. And that is when you're on the spiritual path and you're growing and you're seeking to expand into the fullness of who you really are versus your ego and that lower mind, you do encounter those experiences where you're having to make big decisions like that. And I wouldn't even consider that a huge decision because, I mean, your education, yes, it's huge, it's wonderful, but it's not like at the end all be all. It's not, I would consider like money or relationship decisions to be way of a bigger issue. But it was a big decision for me to put my master's thing on hold so that I could not only just take a break and really dive into what's going on with me, but to take care of some stuff in life. And yeah, there was just a lot going on, and I knew what I needed to do. But it was, I think mostly it was just what was going on inside of me was what was the big determining factor. Because, I mean, again, guys, I could not even barely concentrate on any, I mean, usually I can laser focus and I can study and I can research and I can write, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So my point is, I think I've already made this point a couple of times, but there's there's that very matrixy 3D, holographic, egotistical way of thinking about things. And when I say egotistical, there's no judgment there. We all have ego. We all have, until we start expanding out of it and into the more spiritual realms, we only see that. We only live through those lenses. So it's when we start expanding out of that we are able to see from a higher perspective, that we are able to grow a lot more, and that we are able to live our lives in a way that's maybe unconventional to most people. A lot of people might think you're like, not crazy, but just like, it doesn't matter. Because when you come to a certain level, you don't care anymore, because you're like, I need to follow my path. I need to follow what is in my heart. No matter what, I need to honor that. I need to be committed to that. I need to do that because, well, and I believe that if you don't, you'll just have to come back again and again and again and again, reincarnate till you get it right. I mean, well, get it right. Till you mature enough to where you don't have to do that anymore. That's my personal belief. You don't have to believe that, but that's just, for me, I know my personal truth is honoring my callings, living by what my heart is dictating, my higher self is dictating in every moment. And for me, that was the right decision at the time. And I really have no sorrow about it at all, no regret. I want to go back and get it done eventually. But right now, the spiritual evolution that I'm going through, the growth that I'm going through, and then also trying to help others through this process who are also going through it is invaluable, and it's perfect. It's perfect for me at this time. And so, you know, as you go through the spiritual awakening process, as you grow, you want to honor what God is telling you to do. Honor what your higher self is calling you to do. Do what is calling to you, and don't worry about other people's judgments. They're not living your life. They don't know what's going on inside of you. Only you do. No one else knows. And let them have their judgments. Let them think what they want. They're going to think what they want anyway. Who cares? You know? Like, I mean, just do what you need to do for yourself, because you are living your life. No one else is living your life. Live responsibly. Live lovingly. But honor yourself. Honor your path. Honor your heart. So that was just I feel like it was kind of a good example of something that happened in my life. And I was really excited about graduating. I was really like, yeah, I got my master's degree, man. You know, but at the end of the day, it was like, when I got to that point where I couldn't concentrate anymore, I was like, okay, I've got to step back. I've got to figure this out, because there was so much going on in my life. There was so much going on internally inside of me. And so I knew that I had to honor myself, honor what was going on. But anyway, you guys get the message of what I'm trying to say. Start making small, if you can, start making small choices to honor your heart, instead of like people pleasing or worrying about what others think, or having that ego pride hurt, because that's what happened to me when I decided to stop from that final push towards my master's. That's what happened to me. And so, you know, honor that heart, you know, honor what that guidance system is saying. Honor it above all else. Don't try not to hurt people. You don't want to hurt people, but sometimes you are going to hurt people's feelings because they have an agenda for you, or they think a certain thing about what you should be doing, or what you should be thinking or feeling, or whatever. But you need to stay in that centered place and honor your heart above all else. I know that my videos are they can tend to be all over the place, but it's just me trying to think through what I want to say. So I love you guys. And this was a really good video. I mean, I feel like for me, you know, sometimes making these videos they're very healing for me as well. And I like to share myself, my experiences with all of you, because it helps me, and it's a comfortable way for me to just share with the people that I love, people that I know, and people that I have yet to meet. So anyway, hope you guys have a good day, and I will catch up with you again soon.